All right, as we continue to look at the impact of tariffs on the South African economy, let's look now at the automotive industry. We speak to Mikel Mabasa, the CEO of the National Association of Automobile Manufacturers of South Africa, also known as NAAMSA. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time. So the true impact, according to government, is yet to be assessed. Of course, there are some assumptions that are being made right now, but as the sector, paint a picture for us of what you've been able to assess so far.
Well, thank you very much, and good evening, Bongiwe, and to your viewers. Well, look, I think the automotive industry is absolutely impacted by these tariffs because, remember, the United States is our second biggest market where we are currently exporting our vehicles into. South Africa is obviously a very big export market. I mean, last year in 2024, more than 70% of the vehicles that we've produced in South Africa went out of the country into different markets, including the United States. So if, a big market like the United States, play differently and obviously change the playbook, that obviously will impact on us very, very directly. So I think in relation to the assessment that we have made, it is absolutely very clear to us that the impact will definitely be felt on the ground, particularly for those OEMs who are currently not insulated, adequately in order for them to be able to withstand the shocks.
So when you then look at these particular shocks, right, because there is a concern by some who are saying that maybe some plants may close indefinitely, but others are saying that it's hard to imagine plants that would have closed, but maybe they may cut back on production somewhat. What is the reality there?
Well, look, the reality currently as we speak is that Mercedes-Benz is no longer producing vehicles as we speak today in South Africa. Because that plant is currently shut down, primarily because, Mercedes-Benz in East London was the main exporter of vehicles into the United States. And the fact that they are not able to do so, that has obviously impacted very, very directly their capacity to be able to produce vehicles from that particular plant. But having said that, Bongiwe, I think it's important for us to also provide some context that when you look at our numbers, when you compare the first half of 2024 with the first half of this year, January to June, you can clearly see that we've seen a very sharp drop of exports that went into the United States, 82% drop of exports, from South Africa into the United States. And that's obviously as a result of these, announcements, but also importantly, because of the decisions that we had to take as the sector. Because I think it will be disingenuous for us as a sector to pretend that we didn't know that Donald Trump was going to introduce these tariffs. We knew, in fact, as early as during his election campaign, that he was going to go into office this time around with the policy that is going to introduce some hefty tariffs. So we had to shift furniture, and we've got companies already like BMW in Roslyn, in Tshwane, which is not sending vehicles into the United States as they used to previously, because they were able to find new markets where the X3 that they are producing from Roslyn is able to be sent into other markets, but not that market. So we had to do some very quick furniture shifting in order for us to be able to withstand the shocks, as I called them earlier.
So has the furniture shifting helped?
It has, absolutely, because I think what it does very carefully, it helps us to be able to identify new markets where we can certainly rely on. And I think to the point that was raised earlier in your earlier interview with Ambassador Kolela, obviously identification and obviously diversification of our export markets is absolutely a strategic choice that all of us now need to take, because putting our eggs into one basket, clearly it's not working, and it is obviously hitting us quite significantly. And our biggest concern, obviously, as I indicated with the example of East London, is that a plant like that is absolutely core for the economy of that particular town, because we don't want to see East London becoming a ghost town because Mercedes-Benz has closed down. So we are hoping that they will definitely resuscitate those operations very soon, and make sure that those jobs are actually preserved and secured going into the future.
And especially because when you read some of the reports, you do have some of the employees there who say that they're even afraid to tell their families what they're fearing, and they simply don't want to cause any kind of panic. But in light of what you've said earlier on, right, about the attitude of the U.S. government currently, this particular administration, as far as not only South Africa, but trade in itself is concerned, how confident are you as a sector that these ongoing negotiations may actually yield the desired outcome that South Africa is hoping to get here?
Well, look, we are very confident and very pleased. We met with Minister Pakstow 2 weeks ago. He came and visited us, and he gave us some very good assurances that we wanted to hear from government. And we are very pleased that government is now, I know that a lot of people are saying it is too late, but I think, better late than never. And I think, the fact that both the ministers were also in public today is also reaffirmation that they're taking this particular matter very seriously. So I think from the auto sector perspective, we think that government is doing the right thing. They need to continue to put pressure and continue to negotiate the best way they can. And also because, remember, Bongiwe, there is also the agreement, AGOA, that expires at the end of September this year. Our view is that that agreement is still at play, and I think the South African government needs to continue to push as hard as they can, and I think they are obviously on the right track, and we will certainly be continuing to support them the best way we can to be able to make sure that we're able to find an amicable solution.
You sound optimistic, because others are saying AGOA is as good as gone.
Well, we are not as pessimistic. We believe very strongly that, and we've seen in the manner in which Donald Trump negotiates, if he gets a good deal, he's absolutely, I'm sure, will be amenable to put that particular matter of AGOA back on the agenda. So we are not certainly pessimistic, as many of our friends and commentators have actually suggested.
Michael, hoping to speak to you as time goes on to see then if you're happy with the developments in this particular sector. But thank you so much for painting a picture for us and really taking us into the heart of, just the developments around this automotive sector. But I appreciate your time this evening. That was Mikel Mabasa, the CEO of the National Association of Automobile Manufacturers of South Africa.